Hello, losers, losettes, degeneres, and degenerates. Today we're back. It's that time. It's that time again, where we're doing one of my iconic tier lists, and today we're doing a disability tier list. And so, as you can see here, down the left we have the rankings of lucky, pretty neat, fine, maybe stop, or loser. And I think you get the gist about what that kind of means. And so along the bottom here, I believe we have 21 disabilities. These are all recognized disabilities by any serious medical board, any serious medical institution recognizes all of these as genuine disabilities, and we're gonna rank them in regards to whether someone's lucky or a loser for them. And so we're gonna start with something. Where should we start? Let's start with left-handed people. Being left-handed is it's definitely a disability that comes from the mind. It's one that, to be honest, is largely self-inflicted. It's people who are seeking attention, people who feel like they deserve something more. There's people who want to be quirky, but really they're not quirky. It's people who are just desperately seeking attention, as I keep saying. And so it's self-inflicted. I mean, some of these people, I'm sure, maybe even believe that they're left-handed by in the end because they've been doing it for so long. They've been pretending and seeking that attention for so long. Obviously, they never got the right validation from their parents. Their mummy never loved them enough. And so they're like, look, mummy, I'm using the other hand, so give me more attention than you're giving Bob over there. But it doesn't really work out very well. People just get annoyed with them. I'm going to put that in maybe stop. Not quite in loser. I feel like... as much as they are kind of losers, I feel a bit sorry for them because obviously they've got something. As I said, they weren't loved enough as a kid. Something went wrong, and so it's maybe not entirely all their fault. Next up, we're going to go with epilepsy. Epilepsy. I don't want to make any jokes here. It's not very nice to joke about something like this. I'm going to put it up at like pretty neat because I feel like you can have some good dance moves if you're epileptic. I mean, I've seen some of these people move, and the way they move, I get jealous sometimes. I'm not quite putting them in lucky because that means I probably couldn't go see some of my favorite movies and stuff, or some of my favorite places to go, maybe have flashing lights. And yeah, I couldn't play a lot of video games either, so I'm not going to put it in lucky, but I do think it's pretty neat in some ways. Next up we have bald, and bald people are just, I guess, losers. I don't think there's much to say about that. Next we're going to go with Australians, or people who believe they're Australian. I mean, we can also group in here anyone who furthers the Australian propaganda. I'm definitely putting this down in loser. It could maybe go a little bit above. It could be in like the bottom end and maybe stop, but we're gonna put it as loser. And same thing again with furry. Like furries, everyone knows by this point, furries are some of the biggest losers in the world. It's a really bad disability. No one wants to be a furry. It's a lot of things have to go wrong in your life before you get to that point, and I do feel sorry for them in a way, but it's just so bad that they're still just losers, absolute losers, and pretty much no redeeming qualities whatsoever. And that brings us to K-pop fans. K-pop fans, I'm between maybe stop and loser. I feel like a lot of K-pop fans maybe grow out of this disability. They grow out of this disability. I mean, they've obviously got something wrong in their ears that makes them think K-pop music sounds good. But again, I think that's maybe just something that happens to a lot of teen girls in like their early teens. But as they kind of get a little bit older, they do grow out of it. So I think I'm going to lean towards maybe stop with this one. Next, we've got child. And for the same reason, I'm kind of leaning towards maybe stop, because being a child is, I suppose, a temporary thing, which is very fortunate. But being a child is definitely a huge disability. I mean, you're disabled in life. There's so many things you cannot do. You're just a very annoying person while you're a child. So I'm going to say maybe stop, grow up faster. That's probably what I'm thinking here. Next, we have slow walker. And slow walkers, there's no salvation for slow walkers. I mean, they're straight in loser. I could say maybe stop, but to be honest, slow walkers are never going to stop being slow walkers. I don't know if you've ever experienced much time around slow walkers, but no matter what you ever tell them, no matter what you ever say to them, they will never stop being a slow walker. And for that reason, I cannot, in good conscience, put them into maybe stop, because I just know that they're not willing to stop. Slow walkers are just absolute pains in my ass. They are degenerates of the highest kind, and they are so annoying. And yeah, they're not sorry about it. They might say they're sorry on the odd occasion, but they don't mean it. They will never speed up. They will never stop being losers. Next up, we have female, which is going in fine. Obviously, females are just disabled men, and you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a female. I wouldn't say you're lucky. I mean, I think they are lucky in some ways. Like there are certain privileges that women have. They certainly look much nicer than men, so that's like a bonus immediately for them. There's lots of privileges there. Just in the same way, there's a lot of setbacks, which is why this is a disability in the first place. A lot of setbacks against them, just being weaker, not as good as men, obviously. And yeah, you can't really just stop being a woman randomly. I mean, there is a thing going on right now. I don't want to dive into the whole transgender issue. I guess people think maybe you can start doing that. Maybe people are starting to think, yeah, let's stop being women, let's be men instead, because I don't know. I guess it's better or whatever. But you know, I'm not too convinced about that yet. I'm not sure how well that's working out or if that's really advisable. So I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not educated in that, so I'm just going to put females in fine, because I don't know where else I could really put them. I don't have anything against them. Incels, going from that. Incels are those who I think I'm going to put them in maybe stop. It's maybe not so easy to maybe stop, but I think I want to put them in maybe stop. You know, they're maybe almost losers. Almost, or a lot of them are losers. I've spoken to a lot of incels. I've spoken to them, and you know, they are losers. They are absolute losers, and I like to laugh at them. I like to bully them. I like to make fun of them. But I think the problem here, yeah, we're putting them in losers. Sorry, incels, but the more I talked myself into you guys being, you know, for some reason, it's just so fun to make fun of incels. It's really amusing. Next, we have lazarbeam fans. I guess this could be lazarbeam as well. Like, maybe stop being lazarbeam, and that's basically where we're going to put it. Maybe stop being lazarbeam. Maybe stop being lazarbeam fans, or as I call them, laser tard. It's a disability, but it's kind of a self-inflicted one. It's one you choose, and it's again, though, I think much like the K-pop music with like the young teen girls. Lazarbeam fans are like these young boys who are sleeping in their little race car beds with their mummy's iPads, and they're going to grow out of that eventually. Or so I'd hope. I mean, maybe they're 18 years old, still wearing diapers and still crying themselves to sleep. I don't know, but I would assume that they grow out of that eventually. Next up, we've got colorblind people. Colorblind is very much like left-handed, and we're going to put it right there. We're going to put it next to it. Colorblind people and left-handed people are cut from the same cloth. They are of the same ilk. These are attention seekers who, I guess, didn't get enough attention when they're younger. And so whenever, you know, they're the ultimate hipsters. You know how you get people who say, oh, everyone wants to go see the new Spider-Man movie. And so everyone loves the new Spider-Man movie. And we're like, oh, let's all go see the new Spider-Man movie. And then there's always one person who's like, well, I hate Spider-Man. It's like, why do you hate Spider-Man? You liked Spider-Man last year. Well, it's too popular now. I no longer like Spider-Man. Or, it's, you know, I used to know people in school, and it's like everyone has an iPhone, except there's one friend who has Android. And I mean, I have Android now. I don't think there's any issue with having Android. In fact, I kind of prefer Android. But there used to be, like, in my friend group, there was one guy who was like, well, I've got Android because Apple is terrible. And it's like, okay, you just want to be different. You just want to hate everything that's popular or cool. And that's basically colorblind people, and that's basically left-handed people. It's people who don't want to be like everyone else. They refuse to be like everyone else. They want to do something different so they can stand out and feel good about themselves, because obviously it's like, no, I don't like the nice popular thing that everyone else likes. I want to do this. Oh, no, you think that's red? Well, actually, it looks green to me. That's basically what you're talking about here. And so, yeah, maybe stop. I mean, to be honest, I would even maybe put them down at loser. But as I said earlier, I think there's issues there that are kind of putting them there. Maybe they've been like just unloved as a kid or something. So I don't want to put them in loser too harshly. Next, we've got autism. Autism's a weird one. People think I'm likely autistic. I know a lot of autistic people. I have autistic sisters. I have autistic friends. You know, autistic's a weird one because in a lot of ways, autistic people are absolute fucking losers. Other ways, I just want to tell them to stop because in some ways, I do think autism is a choice. Then there's also, like, there's some neat aspects, like people memorizing, like, railway systems and bus timetables, and it's like, that sounds pretty handy. What if my phone runs out of power? I can remember where the bus is. That can also come with downsides, because I think things get very overwhelming. It's not so great. And people, like, talk about weaponized autism sometimes, where, like, autistic people do, like, really crazy things. They find out things, and, you know, it's pretty insane. Overall, I think I need to put it in fine. I need to put it somewhere in the middle, because I think that the positives and the negatives kind of fight against each other. And so females and autism, I guess they kind of go together. Next up, we have paraplegia. So like people in wheelchairs. I think that's actually... I almost think it's kind of lucky. I know what you're thinking, because obviously everyone likes to walk. Well, do they? Do people like to walk? I mean, people like to be able to walk, but do people actually like to walk? Like, I'm not convinced. Like, people say, oh, I like going on a walk. No, you don't. You don't like going on a walk. Don't give me that bullshit. No one likes going on a walk. That's so boring. No one likes going for a walk. Going for a walk. Oh, I'm going for a walk. No, you don't, liar. No, but people like to be able to walk. So if you need something, you can just get up and walk and go get it. So if I want to go get a glass of water, I can just get up and walk to my kitchen and get a glass of water. If I want to go for a shit, I can stand up, walk to my bathroom and go for a shit. Having a wheelchair, obviously there's an issue there because it makes things harder to do. It's not as easy. You have to build up some arm strength and roll around in your wheelchair. You're no longer allowed to walk. Allowed to walk? Yeah, I guess God's told you that you're not allowed to anymore. So wheelchair users, that would initially make me think, no, that's bad. But, I think wheelchairs are kind of cool. You can, like, decorate them. It's like your own little personalized vehicle. You can go wherever you want. Like, what other vehicles can you take into any place you ever go? Like, no one lets you take a car into the cinema. No one lets you take a car into McDonald's. But you can take a wheelchair into McDonald's, and it could be an electric wheelchair as well. I mean, those things look fun. And even sometimes, if you're, like, feeling tired, you can just play the disabled card and be like, roll me around, slaves, and people start, like, rolling you around anywhere you want to go. Like, I feel like they're pretty lucky in that regard. So I'm leaving them in lucky. That may be a controversial one. Lactose intolerant, maybe stop. Stop being a little bitch. If you're going to cry because you drink some milk, then what's wrong with you? You're a freak. Man up. Stop being a wimp. Fortnite players, you know, I was almost tempted to put this in maybe stop, but I think this just goes straight in loser. Fortnite players go straight in loser. It's similar to the lazarbeam fans, except I feel like although the lazarbeam fans grow up, people who are Fortnite gamers, I don't think they ever grow up. I think there's something that will always be within them from the time they were a Fortnite gamer that will live with them throughout the rest of their life. And this is not a good thing that goes with them. This is very, very bad. It's like a really, really mangled and deformed strain of autism. And I do not encourage anyone to be a Fortnite gamer. It's a very bad disability. And to be honest, I don't know what doctors would prescribe for that. Next up, we've got diabetic, which I'm going to put as kind of like... I'm going to put it in pretty neat. I think sometimes I'm not diabetic, but I think it could be pretty neat to be diabetic. I mean... No, I'm talking myself out of this No, that's going in fine. It's going in fine. There's a lot of downsides, obviously. You have to watch what you're eating. You can't just, like, eat and drink whatever you want because you have to watch your, like, sugar and insulin and all that crap. So that's not a great thing. But it also means that people might be, like, very sympathetic. You could use this to, like, get free drinks and get free, like, snacks and stuff. Like, oh my god, my levels are spiking, and someone might give you something for free, which is why I was kind of putting it in pretty neat. But I think That's probably not so common, so I'm going to put it in fine. Next, we have vegans. Vegans are definitely ones that go down in loser. Vegans are total losers. It's a bad disability. I mean, you're the kind of people who ruin meals. Like, you can no longer go out for a meal to nice restaurants with your friends. You have to look for specific... Like, one of my favorite hobbies is eating and drinking. I like going to nice restaurants. It's like my favorite hobby, right? And I like to try all sorts of restaurants. I might even try vegan restaurant. I don't know. But I'll try all restaurants. I leave reviews on Google Maps. I'm in the top 10% of restaurant reviewers on Google Maps, okay? I leave a lot of reviews. I go to a lot of nice restaurants. I couldn't do that if I was going with a vegan. I couldn't do that if I was a vegan. It would change that entire thing. I would only be able to go to places that have specifically vegan options. I mean, even at least vegetarians can go to a lot of places and they'll find something to eat. But if you're a vegan, yeah, just stay home and smoke some cigarettes, freak. Next up, we're going with fat. And, you know, I think fat just kind of goes in fine. Or, I mean, it could go and maybe stop, but I'm being generous today because I'm a little bit fat, and so I don't really feel like telling myself to stop because I'm hungry right now. I've not eaten today. I will go eat after I finish this video, but at the moment, I'm kind of feeling a little bit sorry for myself. I'm losing weight at the moment, but I'm feeling like, yeah, fat's fine. I mean, there are benefits. There are definitely benefits. I think there's something good about having a higher body mass. I think it's better to be fat than it is to be too skinny. I think I would rather be fat than underweight. At least then, like, I've got more robustness to me. I feel like a more structured person. Like, I think when you get to a certain weight, like going too low, it's like you're not even a real person anymore. I think we should be walking around the streets finding people underweight and just shouting at them, "You're not a real person anymore. You're not a real person." I think that would be a fair thing to do. Under a certain weight, it's like you just don't exist. On the flip side, over a certain weight, you become like two people, and that's not good either. But I'm just going to put it in fine for now. Piss kink. Piss kinks are people who just like to, they need to maybe stop. Like, maybe stop that. That's not cool. That's a bit freak. Piss boy, piss girl, whatever you are. Yeah, you're a bit of a weirdo. Being alive. You know, some people might say, let's put that up in lucky, or pretty neat, or even fine. Maybe stop. But to be honest, I'm putting it in loser. I think being alive is like the most of a loser thing anyone can ever do. Imagine being alive. We're all losers. We're all disabled. Life is a disability, is my point here, folks. If you didn't catch that, if you weren't catching my subtle genius here filling out this tier list, every single one of these things is a disability, and being alive is pretty much the ultimate one. It's the ultimate hindrance to the human experience, being alive. Yoga practitioners, that's a maybe stop. That is for sure a maybe stop. Yeah, yoga practitioners, please don't. You're just insufferable. And finally, we have religious. And I'm going to put religious in fine as well. Younger Rag Reynolds would have put religious down in loser or maybe stop. But as I age, I have less qualms with religious people. I think it's actually, there are benefits to religious people. I think sometimes I wish I was that delusional, is my point. I think it seems nice to be so delusional that when your loved ones die, you think, you know what, I'm not going to be sad because they're in a better place. I think it's nice to be actually able to delude yourself like that. I think it's nice to be in delusion that there's something out there that's better for us all when we go on and there's some higher purpose out there. I wish I was that delusional. I wish I was that much of a stupid idiot that I could believe all that. I'm not. And so that makes me a little sad sometimes. But I will put them in fine and not in loser because I am a little bit envious of how stupid these people can be. Anyway, folks, that is the tier list. That is my disability tier list. As you can see, we will have a quick run through it as we always do. So up at the top, we have lucky, just paraplegia. Pretty neat, we have epilepsy. And fine, we have female, autism, diabetic, fat, and religious people. Maybe stop, we have left-handed people, colorblind people, K-pop fans, children, laser beam fans, lactose intolerance people, piss kinks, yoga practitioners. And in loser, we have being alive, Fortnite gamers, vegans, incels, bald people, slow walkers, Australians, and furries. If you want to do this tier list yourself, I will leave a link to it in the description down below. Feel free to post them, tag me so I can review them. But yeah, that's about all for today. So enjoy the rest of your day, losers and losettes, and I'll be back very soon.